Hey, welcome to the Aramir Roundtable. Today's the 22nd of December, 2021. We have a special guest, Tom Sosnoff from Tastyworks. Tom, as many of you know, have been around for about half our users or more using Thinkorswim, which you started. So thank you, and everybody really loves it. And Tastyworks, I know we have some customers of yours there, but your background is pretty extensive and well known, and we're really happy to have you here. So thanks for coming.
Sure.
Before
Happy
we
to be
get
here.
before we get too far into it, just a normal disclosure that Aramir is not a broker dealer or investment advisor. It's for educational purposes only. Options, futures, bonds, currencies, all involve risks are not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. If you want to read the whole disclosure, just pause the recording or go to the bottom of any of our web pages. So with that out of the way, let me stop sharing my screen. You can share yours, Tom.
Sure. Give me one sec. Let's see. We'll do.
Perfect.
How is that? Can you see my screen right now?
I can. Tasty
Okay.
crypto.
Yeah.
It's really small, Tom. You need to
Give me full
enlarge it to see up your whole screen.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on
full
one
screen
second.
it. Yeah, that should do it.
How's that?
Perfect.
That's better.
Okay, let me widen some of these out because it's not built for this particular screen here.
And just for your information, our community is built for probably a small percentage of beginners. Most of them are intermediate, advanced, or professional. So they all know Greeks and all that stuff and do a lot of spreads on SPX kind of stuff.
Okay, that's great. And just tell me, what kind of direction do you want to go in on the discussion today? And I'm ready to go.
Well, basically, if you're an intermediate advanced options trader doing spreads on the indexes or butterflies like broken wings, how would you use your platform, analyzing trades, that kind of stuff? Just put yourself in that mindset.
Okay. All right. And are you going to stay on or?
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll just
Okay.
mute myself so there's no background noise, but I'll be here.
Okay. And how long do we have to go for?
It's usually about 45 minutes to an hour, depends on how many questions there are.
Okay.
But we can go over, there's no hard stop.
Yeah, no, I'll probably go. I have a hard stop at 11. So we'll probably go to about 10:55 if that works. Central Time.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Beautiful. Cool. I'm ready.
All right. Go for it.
All right. And so welcome everybody. And my name's Tom Sosnoff, and I am in Chicago. So just to give you a little background, Tasty is a kind of a little bit of a strange firm in the sense of financial service firms. We are a digital financial network, the largest in the world. That's Tasty Trade. And then we also own Tastyworks, which is a online brokerage firm specializing in, it's an online brokerage boutique specializing in options, futures, options on futures, crypto. We don't do a lot of stock business, but we do everything else. We're one of the most actively used platforms in the world right now as far as derivatives go. So we specialize in keeping customers in a, let's call it, in an environment where they can trade any underlying they like using virtually any strategy. So we're product indifferent and we're strategy indifferent. And what that means is, regardless of account type, you can essentially do anything you want to do on the Tastyworks platform. And we support it with lots of content and everything else, and our background is such, just to give you just another second of background before we get into a demo, our background is such that we built the Thinkorswim platform back in 1999. And we launched it in 2000, 2001. We ran that company and through the period where we went public. We eventually sold to TD Ameritrade because we were a public company. And about 2 years after we sold Thinkorswim, we built Tasty Trade. And in 2017, we launched Tastyworks, which is, in my opinion, the best front end financial technology that I've seen, and I'm pretty much been around the block many times. Tasty is neat in the sense that it is built on a high frequency middleware, built on high frequency middleware technology. So the platform is super stable and very fast. And because of that, it doesn't waste a lot of time because it's so new, it doesn't waste a lot of time doing a lot of kind of old school legacy calculations that were required in the past by, different legacy platforms that are out there. So it keeps everything very clean right in front of you. And the platform that you're looking at now with a left-hand gutter, as we call it, that has a bunch of quotes on it, an option table in the midsection, and then a right-hand gutter with just some positions. And I just pulled up a random account here with some positions and some working orders and things like that, just so you can see what's available on the platform. This look and feel of this platform essentially never changes. So it's kind of a very simple platform. What we wanted to do when we built Thinkorswim back in the day was to change the industry by introducing people to lots of different strategies, lots of different products on a really advanced piece of Java technology. What we did when we built Tasty was just take it to a different level, simplify the interface, get rid of all the bloat, make it, streamline it, make it super fast, much more stable, introduce more products, more strategies, more independence. And essentially the goal is facilitate opportunity. So everybody that's listening today, you just want the best technology that gets you from point A to point B for the lowest price in the shortest period of time with the best supporting content and the best front-end technology. That's what we built. And so that's what Tastyworks is all about. And that's why it's been one of the fastest growing platforms, in the US really over the last 4 years. We're in the process now of taking this platform global. We're licensed in Australia. We're in the process of getting licensed in Canada and Singapore, and we're taking it throughout Europe through some recent deals that we've made. So it's interesting stuff. We're also the only platform in the US that supports stock options, futures options, and crypto. There's other firms like, for example, Robinhood that support crypto and options, but they don't support futures. And then Interactive Brokers, TD, Schwab, E-Trade, Fidelity, they don't even support crypto. We have it all. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, this platform's open. and we're getting into the decentralized space in a pretty big way. So I think you're going to be impressed with what you see over the next couple of years. Web3, decentralized, lots of around-the-clock tokenized trading. Tasty also supports, just to give you an example, we support secure tokens in physical gold. So something that, nobody else has. So it's just kind of neat stuff. We're experimenting with lots of different things. But the best thing about this platform is we made trading option spreads super simple. Now, since I've been told, hey, most people on this call today have some experience. Most people have some background in trading, different kinds of things like, for example, index products, SPX, maybe it's ETFs like spiders or Qs, and maybe it's just highly liquid stocks. Again, we are completely indifferent to product itself. It doesn't matter to me. So I'll walk you through the platform. I'll take you through the strategy piece. I'll show you the different things that we have. And then if we have any questions at that time, we can cover it. Also, on today, we have a bunch of people from Tastyworks. So they're answering any of your questions. So I'm not even looking at the questions. So they can answer your chats. They can answer your chats about Tasty. They can answer your chats about Tasty Trade, Tastyworks, or really anything you have. Nothing's off limits with us. And after the demo today, if you want, and you would like to email me, I'm just Tom at Tasty Trade. So please feel free. You can email me, Tom at Tasty Trade. Happy to answer any questions, and we'll take it from there. So for starters, just to keep things simple, I'm going to type in, I put a stock SPY up here, and it's the way this platform is built is, and by the way, you're looking at all futures in my watch list here, but the platform is built around essentially around a watch list kind of mentality. So for example, if I went down here and I wanted to trade Apple, just as, just to show you something, I would just click on the offer of Apple. If I wanted to buy it, I'd click on the bid of Apple if I wanted to sell it. And everything we do on the platform is built around embedded watch lists so that users don't really ever have to type in much at all on this platform. Everything is designed. So as soon as for example, as soon as I clicked on Apple, the offer on Apple, it popped in to buy 500 shares of Apple down here, and you could set your default quantities to whatever you want. At the top of the screen, and let me just move this little bar for a second. At the top of the screen, it'll always have, just the stock quotes and things like that and volume, but that's simple. But also we show the implied volatility rank, which shows you where Apple is relative to itself, where Apple's implied volatility is relative to itself over the last 52 weeks. So this will give you an idea if the Apple implied volatility is high or low. If you're trying to make a decision about potentially selling premium in Apple or buying premium in Apple, you might want to know where the implied volatility is relative to itself. And that's what we call IVR, IV rank is. It's the first thing we show. Also, when you type in Apple or just click on Apple, a small chart of Apple will pop up in the right-hand corner. All the information about Apple stock will kind of pop in where we call it kind of quote details. Your position, if you have one in Apple, will pop in here. And if you did any Apple trades today, they'll pop up right down here. If you choose to see them, you just click on it wherever the symbol is. And if I did any Apple trades, it would pop in here, but I haven't done any Apple trades in this account today. Okay, so the simplicity of this platform is everything is always right in front of you. Okay, there's no other pages to go to. So for example, if I wanted to see, if I just decided, hey, you know what, I'm just going to take a look at a chart of Apple. I'm in the same column. If I wanted to look at a different view or a different look of charts of Apple, I can. If I wanted to go back and look at, something else in here, just take it back to a trade interface, I'm right back in Apple. Nothing else changes. It's not something where there's lots of little windows and boxes and you have to drag things and you have to create a certain layout or everything. This is your default. It never changes. Everything stays super simple this way. If you wanted to, for example, trade something in Apple, you just pick whichever month you want to trade, and I'll take you through the whole strategy process. And again, very simple. But for starters, the neat thing I like to give lots of takeaways. So the neat thing on the top line is we show IV rank. Then as soon as you get into the platform, obviously we show a number of days to expiration, but on the right-hand side here, we'll show you the implied volatility of each month. And we're using we call it IVX, which is a VIX style implied volatility kind of calculation. So we use the 3 at-the-money strikes to give you kind of a blended average of the implied volatility. And then we'll take you over to a right-hand column here. We'll show you what the expected move is by that expiration date. So before you open up anything on the platform, by just clicking on Apple, like I can, for example, if I wanted to just look at a Tesla position in here, right? I just click on Tesla. Tesla pops up in the top row. Tesla charts up over here. Tesla details here. Tesla position over here. If there's more, here's a Tesla position over here. Here's in this case, any Tesla fills from today alone in this account right here. So you can see them. They're all lined up. And if you put an order in Tesla, all your Greeks will show up right here. You don't even have to go to a different page. And even cooler, but I'll show you this more in detail in a few seconds, the last couple of trades that you made in Tesla, here's what we call chains, which is taking all of your last trades together and chaining them up so that you can look at all your trade history here on top of each other and follow all the trades that you've made. And again, all from never leaving the same look and feel and the same interface. Now, if you're wondering, well, why doesn't everybody do that? It's because it took us 20 years to figure all this out. It really takes a long time to figure out what kind of, order and process you want to go through. But the simple part of this now is, and let me just clear this down here, is if I wanted to trade Tesla, and I'm going to go back actually to SPY to keep this thing kind of simple for you. If I wanted to go take a look at, the S&P 500 and go to spiders, and let's say I wanted to do something here and I wanted to go out and trade January. Now you can choose to trade weeklies too. If you want to see all expirations, just click here and see all, but I have it right now set up for monthlies. So if I wanted to go out to January, for example, and see, I don't know, these are all the strikes that are currently listed. I can see a lot fewer to make the screen a little cleaner if I wanted to, but I kind of like seeing more. So I'm going to open this up to all just for a second. And a couple of things I'd like to point out to you. Where this line is in the middle of the page, that's the current price of the stock. Where you'll find the first dotted line, that's your 1 standard deviation move. So you don't have to go hunting for it. This is your 2 standard deviation move. And the same thing to the upside, your 1 standard deviation move and your 2 standard deviation move. Now, one of the neat things about the logic built into this platform is that if you, for example, want to buy a call, all you want to do is buy a call. You just click on the offer. If you want to sell a call, you just click on the bid. And the platform doesn't care what strikes you click on. So if all you wanted to do, for example, was just buy an option, like let's just say, hey, you know what? I want to buy a put. You just click on the offer price. And if you want to buy a call, just click on the offer price. That's it. That's how the whole platform is. If you want to get rid of this call, just right click and delete it. If you want to buy a put like I have in here, and for example, I clicked on a specific strike, and if for some reason I don't like that strike, I can just drag it a couple of strikes lower or a couple of strikes higher. And if I want to add a call side to this, I can add a call side to this. If I want to add, for example, let me just change these up. If I'm a little bullish, the market's strong today, I'm a little bullish. Let's just say I want to sell an out of the money put. So I'll just go down here for example purposes. I'll click on the bid side. That's for selling a put. If I want to spread this off, so I'm short a put spread, I just click on the offer price. If I wanted to widen this out, I just drag this down. Or if I wanted to make it a little bit more deltas, I just widen it out. Down here, we have the P50, the probability of this particular short put spread making 50% of max profit. That's what we call P50. We're the only platform that does that. I'm sorry, this is POP, probability of profit. And this is, hang on one second, because I'm just on a screen that's way away from where I'm looking. Just give me 1 second. So I'm going to set it up on dual screens in front of me. So the first number we look at is we call POP, probability of profit. The second number is extrinsic. That's how much premium you're taking in. But the third number is P50, which is the probability of making 50% of max profit. So in this case, if I'm collecting $1.41 by selling this put spread, what are the chances that I'm going to make 70 cents? That's this number here. Then you have your delta, then you have your beta, you have your delta, and then your beta weighted delta, which makes it really easy to see how this impacts your overall position if you're using something other than SPYs. Then we have max profit, max loss, and the buying power required. That finishes out. So all your Greeks are built into every trade. So you can massage the trade, adjust the trade, tweak the trade to get to the point that you want to from a risk reward perspective. So let's just say you like this, this put spread a couple dollars wide, or when you look at it, you say, you know what, I'd rather just be short this particular put. But to this particular put now, if you wanted to make it into a strangle, you can just sell a call against it. If you wanted to make it into a jade lizard, you can buy this call, and now you have a short call spread and a naked put, which is a jade lizard. If you wanted to make this into an iron condor, you can just buy an out of the money call. So again, and I want to take you through this just quickly because it's one of the neatest things about this platform is the simplicity of using just the simple table mode and the interface. This is what everybody loves about it. You click on the bid of anything to sell an option as your starting point. Now you can adjust that option up or down just by dragging it higher or lower. If you wanted to add to it, in this case, I'm going to make this into a short strangle. By just, oops, I'm sorry, I did the wrong side. I'm going to make this into a short strangle by clicking on the bid. So now I have a short strangle. I'm going to make this into something that's a little closer to delta neutral right here. Now, I said, you know what, but I'm actually a little bit bullish. So I'm going to buy this call and make this into a jade lizard. and I'm maybe not that bullish, so I'm going to buy this put and make it into an iron condor. But maybe I'm still a little bit more bullish, so I'm going to widen this out and make it into a skewed iron condor and have a bigger put spread than call spread. And I could even choose, by highlighting these two, to add quantity to this side, so I could sell 2 put spreads versus 1 call spread. We are indifferent on this platform to the way you structure a trade and the number of contracts that you do when you structure that trade. So that's kind of pretty rare in this industry. And then if you wanted to take a look at this and say, hey, you know what? This is cool, but how can I visualize this? We'll also give it to you in what we call a curve mode, which lets you visualize this inside of a distribution curve, and of which you can also, if you choose to, you can drag these strikes. And so this is kind of like your iron condor, but you can choose to do whatever you want, or you can go back to the table mode and just do it here. I made it a little funky, but I'll widen the strikes out. What did I do? Delete them? No, it's too far. Hold on. So I can widen the strikes out a little bit here. Let me just do this. So you can do it on the table mode, or you can go back to the curve mode and do it there, and you can see what it looks like iron condor. You lose money here, you lose money here, you make money in here, but this is just because this is a really wide screen. But you can do this lots of different ways, and you can play around with it. You can make it basically into whatever you want it to look like, risk reward wise. And so we give you multiple views, and it's something, again, that's very unique inside this industry, is having just a way to look at your trades just very differently. Okay, so let me go back to table mode here. So this is an iron condor. You can see it in table mode. You can see it in curve mode. You can make any adjustments you want. And if for some reason you're doing this and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm still confused and I'm not really sure. You can go up to the top and we'll default it to you. So we'll do something where essentially we'll just create a default menu for you so you can choose whatever you want. So let's just say, you wanted to come down and you wanted to do something like an iron condor, same thing. You can just choose iron condor and we'll build it for you. And then you can drag the strikes to whatever you want. So that was a default menu in there as well. Now, what this does is, again, it simplifies everything, gives you your pop, your P50. P50 is what's unique to the platform. And some platforms don't even provide pop, but we'll show you probability of profit, your chance of making 50% of max profit. And many times your chance of making 50% is greater than your chance of making 1 penny, but that's a whole different discussion. The rest of your Greeks here without going to a different page. And when you want to adjust anything, let's say I wanted to adjust, for example, quantity right there. Let's say I wanted to potentially adjust price. You can just click, I'll raise the price a little bit, and then just double click on this bar and it pops up right here, and here's your working order. And again, I just want to show this to you, but where my cursor is right now, this is your SPY order. And this is a lightning fast platform. So for example, if I wanted to cancel this order, I just right click on it, go cancel order, it's gone. Done. Message pops up here. Order is removed from your order book over here. And that's how simple the platform is. Now, here's the cool thing. It works this way for every single underlying. So let's say you wanted to trade ES, which are the futures. Now, remember, we facilitate opportunity at Tastyworks. We don't care what you trade. So regardless of the account type, whether it's a regular account, whether it's a IRA account, it doesn't make any difference to us. You can trade stock, options, futures, and futures options in any account, IRA, regular, any other kind of account, and you can do any strategy. Naked options, futures, naked futures options in any kind of account, including IRAs. We don't limit you. We also don't have any minimums. Anybody, as long as you have the capital to do whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want to do. We don't have those crazy requirements that everybody else seems to have. But let's say you wanted to trade futures and you wanted to trade a futures option and you wanted to go out to the same, or similar expiration. Let's just say like, a January expiration. So you open up January expiration and you would trade futures options the exact same way. Sell this, buy this, sell this option here, and there's your iron condor in the futures world. Oops, oh, sorry, I have a future contract on in there. Hang on one second. So here is an iron condor in the ES options. There's no difference on the platform between trading ES options and trading SPY options, or trading SPX options, or trading any ETF, or trading Apple or Tesla or anything else. Whatever you want to trade, you can do it straightforward using the same layout on the platform. Now, what's neat about this, we have a position layout, you have activity layout, of course, but then we start getting into some cool stuff. Like first thing is a watch list. So on the platform, everything is based on this complex system of watch lists, including liquidity meters, including correlation, including your ability to search by a gazillion different watch lists in here. And they're mostly all defaults, but you can create whatever kind of customized watch list you want. If you decide, hey, you know what? This is kind of cool, but I want to watch a little tasty trade, you can do that too, right through the platform. So right now, for example, Liz and Jenny have a live show going on, and you can watch that, or you can watch any of the content that we've created over the course of the day. We have one charting platform, then we have a second charting platform. So they're built in lots of different deliverables in here. Then we go to kind of what we call a history page, which you don't really need to see it. And then we have something that's really neat, which is a follow page. So if you want to say, hey, you know what? I'm really interested in what you guys trade this morning. You can just click on me, and here's every trade I made this morning. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but these are all trades that we made already this morning. And so you can just see, so we let you follow everything that we do, inside the firm, completely transparent. Nobody else does that. And so all that stuff's built into Tasty, which is very neat. Now I'm going to go back to this trade page for a second, and I'm going to show you some other things that we have, because I want to take you through everything, and then I'll come back and show you some cool stuff. So I gave you a little quick preview of this is the same layout using an iron condor and showing it to you on the curve mode. We also have an active trader interface. We also have what we call kind of a grid interface, so you can trade from grid. We also have a crypto interface, and this is something that I said none of our competitors have. And what's cool about this is this gives you an opportunity to trade right now 22 different cryptocurrencies, and these are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can trade just about every one of the majors. The only one we haven't launched yet is Solana, which we will be launching hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so. But we just pushed out Cardano ADA, and we have basically everything else that you kind of might, or that you want to trade. I mean, you tell me. So this is, for example, this is a Bitcoin contract. If I just double click on that, I just bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. You can adjust the numbers to whatever you want. This is, Ether. So if I want to buy, just for example, $300 worth of, these are set to different quantity, but if I wanted to buy $200 worth of Ether, so just works that way. This is Polkadot. This one's Cardano. So here, I'll buy $100 of Cardano. So we go to so many different market centers, all instantaneous. And because we're on this high frequency middleware, everything takes about, 25 milliseconds. Could be as little as 7 or 8, could be as max of 30, but there's no other platform with this speed. And this is cloud-based market making with crypto. It's not even exchange-based. So it's neat. And like I said, nobody else has this. Super simple. The only problem with crypto is you can go long it, but you can't go short it. And then we also have a pairs interface, which I won't spend a lot of time, but if you like trading pairs, we have lots of different pairs choices for you, and you can trade any combination of, and basically any combination of any pair on the platform through this pairs interface. So just something else you can do. So anyway, so we take you through pairs interface. Oops, let me get rid of this for a sec. Crypto interface, which you're on now. And this is what we call grid mode, which allows you to trade from charts if you want to. I just don't have it set up because I don't trade from charts. An active interface, a curve mode, and then back to the table mode. Everything takes place in this middle screen right in front of you. We never go off mid-screen. And that is probably the neatest thing. So, for example, let me just give you a couple more trading examples, and I'll take you through some other stuff. So, for example, and then this is just to keep things like, super simple. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to go down here and just find something that might be kind of neat to trade. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to trade this is a micro NASDAQ. Okay. So let's say I pulled up a micro NASDAQ /MNQ, hit the bid to sell, and then just double click, filled. So sold a micro NASDAQ. And let's say I want to go out and buy a micro ES contract to spread it off, filled. These are open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And by the way, every trade I'm showing you on here is real. Let's say I wanted to go out in Apple for a second, and I'm going to click on the bid in Apple. And the stock's up a little bit today. I'm going to reduce my quantity to 100 shares. And if I want to sell some Apple, it requires, in this case, an uptick. So I got to wait till it get a little uptick in there because I put it in on the offer. And so that's how you sell a trade in Apple. Same thing. The reason I'm showing you this is that's the exact same thing that I did to sell futures was same thing in Apple. Okay. And let's say I wanted to buy a stock, it doesn't matter what it is. I just pick out any stock. Like, let's just say I wanted to buy 100 shares of McDonald's, which I don't really ever trade, filled. And so that's, again, the simplicity of the platform. Now, if I wanted to go so I bought 100 shares of McDonald's, if I wanted to go out to February, and let's just say I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to probably, I don't know, I'm going to sell an option against it. I guess I just got filled on Apple. So if I wanted to sell an option against the McDonald's trade, I would just come over here, make sure it's the right quantity, and then just put it in, leave it in above the market. I'll end up with a covered call when it eventually gets filled. And now you can see I have two working orders. I have this Facebook working order from earlier. I'm going to just right click on it, cancel, gone. Now I have this McDonald's working order. And instead of canceling, I'm going to cancel and replace. So I'm going to go down from 238 to, let's say, 234. See if we get filled. Filled. That's how simple this is. Now, the neat thing is I never went off this main page. So there's no confusion. And here's my order right now in McDonald's. Here's my fill. So I can't stress how much bloat, confusion, messed up pages there are when you look at most legacy platforms and how slow they are. When you have an opportunity to use Tasty, we get in a situation where everything is right in front of you and there's crazy speed. So before I came on, we had a brief discussion about potentially looking at stuff like in the SPX, just as an example. So if I wanted to go to the SPX and look at something in here, like, let's take a look, and I'll open up a bunch of SPX options. Now, we're up right now. The market's up huge today. The S&Ps are up 33, and we've had a huge rally after yesterday being up 70. So let's say I want to do something in the SPX, and I was like, yeah, I'm open to doing something. So let's take a look and say, I don't know. Let's say I want to do something like maybe a butterfly above the market or something. I'm going to change put to call, and I'm going to do a call butterfly. And instead of selling it, so I popped in a call butterfly here. Okay. Did it real simple. So I didn't even have to type in anything. And I'm just going to widen out these strikes just arbitrarily. Okay. That's a classic butterfly. And, one strike apart, and buy one, sell two, buy one. Okay. Buy one, sell two, buy one. Let me just put this in over here. change the quantity down. So buy one, sell two, buy one. Greeks over here, simple butterfly in here. And I haven't really had to type in any numbers or do anything yet. Let's say I wanted to change this to a broken wing butterfly. I just drag that strike up one, done. Now you have buy one, sell two, buy one, but I skipped a strike. So a broken wing butterfly is a skip strike butterfly. So there's a classic skip strike butterfly. Now, if you're like, hey, you know what? That's way, way too big a credit. So I'm going to get to where it's something a lot more normal. Let's start down here for a second. So here is a classic butterfly. And I'm looking at the strikes. I'm equidistant away. I'll make it into a skip strike butterfly. Still pretty rich. Okay, so I might want to just even go further. Like, you know, this is what you can do. You can adjust things down till you get to a point where like, hey, you know what? I'm getting to the level where it makes the most sense for me. And that's the beauty of the platform, right? You have a regular butterfly, which should trade around, you know, SPX butterflies will trade somewhere between 15 and 20 cents, 25 cents or something like that. And then you skip the strike butterfly, you go to $1.78 credit. I'm just showing you how easy it is on this platform to create everything from broken wing butterflies. I mean, if you didn't want to do this and you just wanted to do a ratio spread, you just delete the long call. So here you have a ratio spread, buy one, sell two. Here you have a butterfly, buy one, sell two, buy one. Drag this a strike. Here you have a broken wing butterfly. See how cool that is? It's just super neat, very simple. And then again, all the Greeks pop in down below. This is a regular butterfly, crazy low probability of profit. Widen out the strikes, takes you to a very high probability of profit. That's just because you're selling a junky out of the money call spread. Well, maybe it's not so junky, but we'll see. It's really fascinating stuff and built simply. Now, let's say I wanted to route this order and I wanted to sell it maybe right here. Let's just see what happens. Put the order in, it's working in the SPX. Now, if you want to sell butterfly and you know you're not getting filled, okay, well, maybe you move it down a couple of pennies and see what happens. So I moved it down a couple of pennies, filled. That's it. Life in the big city. Simple that way. Now I go back to some of the stuff that we created earlier and I'll look at the, I'll take a quick look at the, hang on one second where I just put this in because while we've been, I was going to say while we've been talking, the micro NASDAQ moved up a little bit, but it's really pretty much about the same price. I was going to take off the micro. If you want to take off a position, okay, just click on what I already have. You can see I just bought this 2 seconds ago, so I'm long one. And if you want to close it, you just right click, hit close position, and then double click, and you're done. And then if I want to close out this one, just click on it and done, completely flat. The platform is neat in other ways too. Let's say you wanted to go to the SPYs for a second. Oops, my bad. SPY. Let's say I want to go to the SPYs. And let's just say, I'm going to go back to that original Iron Condor or broken wing butterfly or whatever. I'll go back to the Iron Condor just for a second. So I'm going to sell this. I'm going to do a very tight Iron Condor here, just for purposes of a demo in the SPYs. So let's say you do the Iron Condor, and down here you can see my quantity of a 5 lot. So what we do is we have a very interesting commission schedule on Tastyworks, and we've never changed it in 4 years. For simplicity reasons, we charge $1 contract to open and $0 to close. So it's $1 contract to open to $0 to close. So it's like 50 cents a contract. That's all we charge. But we cap everything at $10. So if you wanted to do 5 Iron Condors, each leg is $5, or so it's $20 total. If you wanted to do 10 Iron Condors, this entire thing costs $40, which is in line, probably in line or cheaper than most of the other firms because we don't have a ticket charge. We don't have anything else. That's all we charge. And that's to buy and to sell, the whole thing. But if you wanted to go up to 20 contracts, it's still only $10 a leg or $40 total. And if you wanted to go up to 50 contracts, we cap everything at $10. So 50 contracts is still $10 a leg or $40. And if you wanted to go to 500 contracts or 1,000 contracts, it's still $10 a leg or $40 maximum. So the most you can ever pay on Tasty for doing anything is $10. Crypto's capped at $10. All options are capped at $10. All stock is free. So like when I did that trade before in McDonald's and did the covered call in there, when we sold that, the trade is completely free, except it cost 50 cents to do the option, 50 cents each way. Stock is free. But if you do 100 iron condors or 1,000 iron condors or whatever it is, it's only $10 a leg, capped. So everything's on cap. So we're the only company with capped commissions. Now there are, obviously there's, Robinhood is free and things like that. But the problem with free is that you can't do anything, you can't do anything on the platform. So free, sometimes you can't afford free. This platform is very high-end, Java technology that basically lets you do anything. Let's say I want to go back now. We sold some Apple a couple of seconds ago, if you remember. I'm going to go back now. I'm going to buy the Apple back. We'll make about $10 or something. So just have a little fun with it. But now we're flat, flat stock in Apple. So again, the platform lets you do everything. It has portfolio margin, lets you trade any underlying that you want, all from the same interface. It has also built into the platform some incredibly cool stuff. And I'm going to take you over here for a second and besides alerts and besides an analysis tab, which we just don't have time to get into today, and besides all the other follow stuff, one of the coolest things that we've built is what we call chains. And on the chains platform, it allows you to look at a trade that you might have made, 10 or 15 adjustments ago. The guy might have made this Apple trade all the way down here a ton of adjustments ago, weeks ago. And on top of this trade, which was initially a strangle, I probably added 15 or 20 different adjustments, either rolling the puts up or rolling the calls down to adjust the position. In the process of doing all those adjustments, I've lost track of how I've done on this trade. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Then I look up at the top and I can see, oh, I'm up money. Beautiful. And I can see every single adjustment that I've made that's attached to this trade. There's no other technology like this in the world that's built into a trading platform. There are some places where you can buy technology like this and you have to enter everything manually or to connect to a third-party system. Nobody else has built this in the platform, and everything on this platform is free. That's really cool. And this took us 2 years to build this chain functionality, just so you know. So there's some technology on here that, from things like P50 to things like, all of your implied volatility ranks built into this, to a modernized implied volatility, to a modernized expected move, to all the underlyings and all the interfaces, everything working from a single layout. That's the beauty. No bloat on this platform, pure speed. And that's the beauty of Tastyworks. All right, I'll stop for a second. We'll answer some questions if you have them.
I had one. He just showed the chains with all the adjustments. Does that P&L you're showing, does that include the commissions that you paid or not?
No, nothing on the platform includes the commissions, because the commissions are pretty minimal, but we don't include commissions because some places, some underlyings might have an exchange fee. We just decided a long time ago that it's easier to show the commissions separately. So we show commissions separately.
And then if you wanted to do like a ratio type of spread, like a back ratio or a ratio butterfly,
Sure.
how do you adjust the leg quantities?
Well, there's two ways to do it. So the first way is let's just open up Jan for Apple for a second. One of the things we can do is we've already built a ratio spread in here. So you can see right here, it says ratio spread. So it'll default to a ratio spread, whatever your default quantity. So if your quantity is 5, it'll default to 5 by 10. If you default quantity is 1, it will default to 1 by 2. So you can see this. This is a ratio spread: buy 1, sell 2. If you flipped it the other way, it would be buy 2, sell 1, but that would be a back spread. But this would be a classic ratio spread: buy 1, sell 2. Then you can change it, anything you want. If you don't do it that way and you just want to do it manually, let's just say I bought one here and then I wanted to sell some other ratio here. You just click on whatever strike you want to sell more of and then just add it. So you can do any ratio you want. So the neat thing on the platform is it doesn't care what ratios you do. So if you wanted to do, 3 by 4, this morning I did a ratio spread. I forgot what underlying it was, but I did a 5 by 12. So the platform doesn't care what ratio you use, and it doesn't care how many strikes you use. So you can pick your strikes, pick your ratio, pick anything you want. The platform does not care at all.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I see there's a lot of questions in the chat, but your team's taking care of them.
Yeah, that they're awesome, and they are very clear of the concept on almost every level. But ratio spreads, you can do double ratio spreads as single orders, like whatever we call Batman trade or something. But you can do all those, and you can do double ratios with different ratios on each side. Like you can do a 1 by 2 and a 2 by 3 and do it as a single order.
Nice.
And everything on the platform. There's another thing that's real simple on the platform is it's super easy to roll. So let's say like for example, this is an Apple position in here right now. Let's say I wanted to roll just this naked call. You just click here and you go on quick roll. So you go on quick roll and that's it. It just automatically rolls you from Jan to Feb if you want to. If you want to go and highlight a spread, let's say you wanted to roll a strangle from Jan to Feb, you just go down and hit on quick roll and you roll a strangle from Jan to Feb. So the platform makes rolling super simple. You want to roll futures, you just click on a future and you can choose to roll to the next cycle. It'll give you the inside markets. But when most people have difficulty rolling options, and on Tasty, the neat thing is you highlight even a spread, choose click roll, and then you can adjust the strikes on the roll because these are taking it out a month. So you can adjust the strikes if you want to pay a debit, or if you want to widen the strikes and have a smaller credit, or if you want to narrow the strikes and have a bigger credit. You can do all that. Done super simple. So we made certain things. We were very aggressive in building roll functionality into here to make it easy to make adjustments, easy to make rolls. Let's say you have a position on and Apple's rallying, so you want to take potentially a short put that you have, and you might say, okay, well, I'm going to close this short put and I'm going to just sell a bigger put. That's it, just rolling up and down. So you can do vertical rolls in the same month to adjust positions. You can do horizontal rolls to move out in time. Both of those are delta reductions, and again, all of it through the same simple interface.
I had another question on the chains. If you have a long list of adjustments like that, I guess the curve would show the current position.
Your current position, well, the chains will show the last thing that it shows is your current position.
And
but it doesn't, we don't, when you're creating a trade, you can choose to see your current positions on the layout. I have chosen not to on my layout, but that's a choice that each user can make on the platform. So it's an option in the setup box. You can choose to see your current positions, or you can choose not to see them. I choose not to see them because I find it a little more confusing to see current positions inside of a table mode or a curve mode, but I always have my current positions over here.
All right. Well, I see we're kind of coming up on your hard stop. So thank you for your team for answering all the questions. They've been doing a great job. And thanks, Tom, for the presentation you've done to walk us through the platform. It's very impressive.
Sure. Well, if anybody has any questions, like I said, I'm just tom@tastytrade.com. Now, and I'm happy to answer anything you have. And we have great support teams on both sides. We've always been, recognized for building incredible support. So fire off anything you have. Nothing's off limits. We're happy to answer anything. We have some really cool, content and some really cool features you get with us, lots of like little perks and stuff. So you should check it out. It's an amazing piece of technology.
All right. Well, with that, I'll let you run to your next meeting, and thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Anytime.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming, and we will see you all next time.